G'day ladies and gentlemen, coming back for a little nighttime cruisy. Brought to you by a little story time today. So, it's been an eventful week. Been doing some nice cruises around. Inspired one of my mates to get a bike, as well as my other mate. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen there's a photo with me and my mate Hugh riding our bikes. There's a falcon in the background. Now that falcon belongs to the unlucky individual from this video today. And, well, here's the topic. So basically, we've been riding around, me and my mate Hugh, for a while now, and our mate Jason, been a little bit inspired. He's like, riding looks a little bit fun, kind of want to try it. And so we went out on the hunt for bikes that day. It was literally the day before he decided to go and look for bikes, and we went the day after. Alright, now you can tell where that's going. So we went out in the morning, right? We met up at the place where we're checking out this one bike, little Virago 250. Okay, little putt V-twin, get you started, you know, on your way. Nothing too crazy. It's not a terrible bike, but this one, she wasn't healthy. I'm gonna be honest with you, me and Hugh had a fucking ball riding this thing. Like, she wasn't fast by any means, and clearly it wasn't healthy, like, because it couldn't hit 40 k's without dying, and I'm talking like fully pinned open. Something wasn't right there, right? But we had a good time, right? If you were living in the city, I can understand how that bike would work, but no. If you're going up a hill in second gear and you're fully open, you should not be struggling, and in fact you should not be losing revs. So we had a little test ride in this. To be honest, I fucking loved it, but at the same time I know it was not a good idea to buy such a thing. But that was the first little introduction into that day. We decided not to buy that one, which is a shame, because the bloke who was selling it to us, or trying to sell it to us at least, was a bloody legend. Brought out bevies for us and shit like that. So you can't say he wasn't a hospitable man. But that was the beginning, right? So we bought no bike, but we did laugh and have a good time. Then Hugh had to go off because man had to do his own thing. He's building his fucking Land Cruiser engine, that poor bastard. Yeah, that fucking bastard's been working on that engine for quite a little while. We're all keen to see it finished, and I'm sure he's exceptionally fucking hell, exceptionally keen to see that engine finished. But just because Hugh wasn't there anymore did not deter Jason and I from looking at more bikes. Now, he hasn't got his license yet. Let me add that in real quick. He's never really ridden a bike, which there'll be a funny little story at the end here for you. But we went out and had a look. Now, we looked at a little 2009 Hyosung, I don't know if it's Aquila, I don't fucking know, that cruiser, right, the 651. Forward controls, the owner was a real Harley head, fucking wants a V-rod, he did the big ape hangers and shit. I found the bike extremely comfortable, and this is where it all began. Top-notch bloke, alright, he comes out, fucking takes it for a send around the block. The bike was cold when we got there, then he gives us an invitation to go ride it, and he's like, fucking thrash it, mate. And if someone's telling you can thrash it, now usually you shouldn't be worried that the bike has any mechanical problems. If someone's saying, yeah, just fucking send it, you'll be fine. Did our little pre-check, bike's alright. All electronics work, there's no leaks for nothing. Nothing. It's all spick and spam, like, I don't know what the fuck. Took it for a ride, shit was awesome, alright, it rode really well. And then old mate hopped on the back, he had a go, as in pillion, and he enjoyed it. And I was like, oath mate, it's your decision to buy it, I like it, nothing seems wrong with it. So he fucking sends on it, he's like, alright, cool, I'll buy it. And that's where it all begins, because nothing ever goes wrong until you spend money, right? So what happened was, it was up to me to ride it back. Now we're in Craigieburn, and we're riding to Doncaster or some shit like that. And, well, let's just say that's when the fun begins. So I'm riding back, and he's in a little cheeky tuned modified, like Falcon Turbo, and got a bit more oomph than the bike does, to a degree. And I'm just like, I'll take it easy, it's not my bike, he's just bought his bloody thing, and I want him to be the first one if anything goes wrong to enjoy it. It's his you know, journey. And I'm just cruising on the freeway, and I'm just like, suddenly I've lost the ability to hit 100 k's. I'm like, uh-oh, that's not very fucking good now, is it? And I had my doubts in the moment. I sort of guessed what it was, but I didn't want to believe it. I'm like, for the love of God, let it just be a Livina or something. Although I'm pretty sure that bike wouldn't have one, but I just didn't want to be negative, not yet. I'm like, please don't let the fucking cylinder be dead, cunt, no. Long story short, that's exactly what happened. So cruising on the freeway, and I'm suddenly hitting 90 instead of 100. I'm like, please, why am I not accelerating? The throttle is wide open, please. And then sometimes you go, because the cylinder kicks in, and by God, when that cylinder kicks in, you fucking notice it. But when the cylinder's just chilling out, it's not fucking doing much, you feel nothing, but that single cylinder, you know, that fucking, oh, you know when it's a single cylinder sound, you know when it's not good. So cruising back, I pull up at a set lights. I'm like, he's like, how is it, mate? I'm like, I think the cylinder's died. He's like, oh, I hope it's just not a warming up problem. Funnily enough, it seems to be only present when the bike is warm. When the bike is cold, the bike does not seem to have one cylinder. It has two, but when it warms up, it's like, all right, see you later, chief, I'm out, I'm gonna go have me nap now, it's nice and cozy, and I intend to see you later, so ciao. And that's kind of what happens. So once the bike warms up, it decides to just commit suicide on us and just not be nice, which I tell you, on a V-twin, having a single cylinder is not exactly a V-twin. Having two is better than one, and having one, well, it's better than none, but fuck me, it is shit. So riding back, and then we get to the sort of the suburbs area, not the freeway anymore, and I'm like, okay, cool. This bike had a really early catch, like I'm talking that it would catch. My one catches way out far. So I'm just like, all right, cool, cunt, we're just gonna fucking try and get this into grip, and it stalls. I'm like, wonderful. And then we try again, and it stalls, and I go, wonderful. What is the issue here? Stalled it twice at that set of lights, so I just fucking rev bombed it and let it in slowly, which, as you know, is not healthy for the clutch, but I could not get it moving any other fucking way. And lo and behold, we had the acceleration of a Honda Grom. It was ruthless. Fucking off we went. 0 to 60 of never, but we got there, and kept on powering through. I'm telling you, it was a struggle. Every single time we had to stop, I loathed starting again, because getting it into gear was not easy. Once it was in gear, it would work. Not well, but it would work. It's just that first gear change, holy shit, you would know when it would not work. Oh, the amount of stalls we had on that way home. Anyway, we get to our destination. Hugh's a little shocked. He's like, what the fuck? You bought a bike? And I'm like, yes, he did. But there's something wrong with it. And he goes, just his luck, he says. Hugh hops on the bike, mate. I'm telling you, he goes, yeah. Hugh's not a man of the forward control nation. He's a mid-control man, so he's already not happy with the pegs. But that's alright, he gives it a crack. Goes around the block, not even yet, he stalls it a few times, like what the fuck, stalled it maybe 3 or 4 times trying to take off, because I'm telling you how shit this fucking thing goes without 2 cylinders. It is not having a good time. So, once he finally gets it moving, we're all just waiting around. You hear that little fucking cannon of a stock muffler on those bikes just doing its thing, not making noise, and then he does his little laps, and then he comes back. And all of a sudden he goes, bro, where's your second cylinder? And I'm like, that's what I said. Lo and behold, I think we established that bike had a cylinder failure. Now, I don't know if it's a spark plug or if it's the carb jets, but I don't think it'd be the carb jets. It could be a coil. I've heard it be the coil before, and because I was watching some Australian YouTuber guy, and he said he had a coil problem doing the same thing. So I hope that's all it is, for his sake. It's not my bike, but when your boy gets a bike, you want to ride with him. When he gets his license, at least. So yeah, that was the journey there. So little detour happened. Man had to go out for dinner, so he came back in the evening, and he's like, I want you to teach me how the bike works at least. I'm like, okay, this is your clutch, all right, very important, all right, this is bike, this is clutch, and that is shifter, not clutch. And he's like, but why is clutch on, handlebar, why not foot peg? I'm like, mate, this is the way it is, accept it, all right? Clutch is on the handlebar. And then I'm like, okay, just let it out a little bit, feel the bite point. We're not gonna go anywhere, you're just gonna get used to it. That's what you wanna do. And we ran through the basics. And what happened was, he did the bite point and he was fine. I was like, sick, cool, all right, have a good one. Just wait right here, I'm gonna put my gloves on the bike and I'll come back and I'll tell you the rest of it. And you know, you see those videos of people in their backyards riding bikes, and then you look at them, they start waddling, and then all of a sudden the bike takes off, and then they crash. I look behind and I see the bike's moving. I'm like, uh-oh. I see the waddle. You know the one. I'm like, uh-oh. The bike starts getting away from him, and I'm like, you guessed it, uh-oh. And, well, you see, he realised where the clutch was a little bit too late. He hit the curb, didn't mount the curb, wasn't going fast enough, and then the bike fell down. It's the first drop in our possession. Apparently the other owner didn't drop it, but we don't know how much to believe it. Apparently he only rode it like 3 times, and honestly, I believe it. The bike had 2,000 Ks on it, so it should not be having cylinder issues anyway. Like, it's too fucking new to be having issues. But lo and behold, that bitch had some issues. Just the main one that we know of. And, well, that's the way the story goes so far. And then, so I had to ride that thing back to his parents' house for some storage reasons. And, well, let me tell you, so when he dropped the bike, he didn't break the mirror, alright? Mirror was fine, spun around a little bit. And, well, the man could see it, he just needed to retighten everything. And the fucking foot peg broke off. Now, I don't know if you know this, but a bike without a foot peg is a little bit annoying to ride. Especially in a forward control, like you sort of get a bit of cramps and stuff of the like. Now, not only was I getting some cramps, I had to hold my leg on this this forward control like mount, not with because the peg snapped off, but the mount was okay. But it's a rounded mount, so there was nothing to put my feet on, essentially for that whole ride. And it was an annoying ride because once again, no second cylinder. Oh, mate, it's fucking fogging up in this helmet, I'll tell you what. Yeah, so no second cylinder, as we know. So taking off was shit, no foot peg was shit. And what I had to do was a grueling task. Alright? Fucking grueling task. And that was just ride it. Now, what annoys me about the bike is when you thrash that throttle, like, it fucking, you can feel the second cylinder sort of kicking in, and then it dies, and then it kicks in and then it dies. But when we start up the bike, it's like nothing happened. The second cylinder was working. It was like, I can't fucking believe it. The cylinder's there. Where was it before? And then, well, after we rode it for about 3 minutes, it started again. Because of course it did. So that was fun. We got it back to his place. We had to get it into the backyard. We rode down the driveway, and he's got like this fucking step that's like this big. And the bike was not going down that without a fight, so we had to go around the long way of his house. So we had to go around the left side of his house, which is a gap that's like this big. So it just fit the bike, and it was not an easy fit either. It was a very, very squishy fit. So that was a party. But yeah, after we snuck that bitch into the backyard and parked it up, just looked at him and go, mate, I gotta tell you, that shit is the most unfortunate fucking thing I've ever seen. The bike was fine, mechanically sound, until it wasn't. And now, well, she's got to go to the mechanics. And when she goes to the mechanics, she should be fixed up nice and randy dandy. But until that happens, well, she's going to be a little bit out of action for a while, unfortunately. So yeah, so that's the story of our unfortunate mate, Jason. Hopefully his bike gets fixed up soon, but until that day happens, mate, I'm telling you, he's going to have nothing to ride. But yeah, that's poor bastard couldn't fucking ride, even in the driveway. He didn't listen when I said to wait, which is fine, I guess. You gotta learn some way, and I'll tell you what, you fall off like that, you don't forget where the clutch is, alright? You learn very quickly. But yeah, man, if you're gonna get a bike, maybe you should ask the guide if you can go for a bit of a longer ride. The lessons can be learned for everybody, or, you know, sometimes issues just aren't present until, you know, you spend money on it, and then it's like, oh, by the way, I'm a lemon. The poor cunt. So we'll have an update in a few weeks on that bike and the story behind it. Hopefully all works out for the cobber. But well, we just won't know until we know, I guess. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining me for this cheeky little fucking story time. Send your F's in the chat for Jason. Hopefully that man's bike will be saved. It'll be a very unfortunate purchase if it turns out to be fucked, or it'll either be fucked or very expensive, but let's all pray it's not. We really don't want that to happen, because that'd just be shit, hey. But yeah, that's all we have time for in this little one. Thank you, fucking shit English. Thank you so much for fucking joining me, and take it easy. Keep it cheesy, as we do. And as always, peace.